Hello and welcome to Mitv Primetime News, coming to you live from our broadcast studio here in Lagos. I am Teresa Adeyemi. We begin the news tonight with the top stories. Senate replaces Boucher with Lao's deputy minority leader. 8 killed, village head, 3 others abducted in Katsina. From the foreign scene, Putin pledges no new Ukraine escalation. Sport. Ferran Rivata resigns as Barcelona CEO. Now the news in details. The Senate has received a letter from the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia Ayu, nominating Senator Shuaibu Issa Lau, representing Taraba North, as the new deputy minority leader in the Senate. Ayu said Senator Lau's nomination was against the backdrop of Senator Emmanuel Boucher's defection from the opposition party to the All Progressive Congress APC last week. The letter was read at the start of Tuesday's plenary by President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan. Senator Lau is from Taraba State, the northeast geopolitical zone of the country, where the position has been zoned. Meanwhile, the former deputy minority leader of the Senate, Emmanuel Boucher, has formally defected from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. Immediately after his announcement to defect from the opposition party, Senator George Tekibo, representing Rivers State, came with a counterpoint in order to oppose Boucher's defection, citing the provisions of Section 68, subsection G, subsection A, H, and subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Announce this day that it is appointed unto me from henceforth to enjoy a free air.
Point of order.
As King Solomon said,
Point of order.
as King Solomon said, there is a time for everything.
Point of order.
There is a time for everything. Now it is a time for me. It's a time for me to leave the People's Democratic Party.
Point of order. Point of order.
Resulting.
You are protected. Go ahead. Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I say I have opportunity to breathe freely because of a deliberate isolation and huge divisions in the party in my state. This has caused...
Which party? Oh, okay.
The huge division and factionalization from my state, which also translates to the national, because I'm the national officer of the party and a member of NEC. Mr. President, I had to leave because I seek to breathe better. This day, I announce henceforth my exit from the People's Democratic Party and to join the governing party because of visible presence of the party in my senatorial district.
Our member who just left us now didn't give us that the party in that state was divided. No. I am coming, sir. He didn't say that there was a problem. All he said is that he wanted freedom, he wanted to breathe free air, he wanted to do that. There was nothing that he said that complied with this, the provision of the Constitution. More so, subsection 2 of Section 68 has not been complied with. I think that well, he has his own mind, he can go, but I think that we must be critical on these issues to confirm that what we are doing is the right thing. I think my friend Kwaka should come back, which has not done.
Okay. This letter signed by your national chairman. This letter says this PDP Senate caucus has duly informed the national headquarters of the party, and it's like the national headquarters has accepted and already nominated somebody to replace the distinguished senator who has moved to APC. Lastly, is his fundamental human right. I know there is no way that this movement will not be questioned by somebody, at least to show that there was a small resistance. My fear is you may have to perfect your acts because very soon you will be shocked by the massive movement from that side. So with that, I rule you out of order completely, distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo.
A bill for the establishment of a vaccine production center and other related matters in the country has passed second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill was sponsored by Honorable Kasimu Maigari from Adamawa State at plenary on Tuesday. House of Representatives correspondent reports that the lawmakers said it is important due to shortage of vaccine for numerous ailments ranging from malaria, poliomyelitis, Ebola, Lassa fever, and now COVID-19 for the less developed and developing countries. Lawmakers were unanimous in supporting the bill, hence there was a suggestion for the rehabilitation and upgrade of an existing center in Plateau to serve the purpose.
Let me say that given the manner in which the Western world have so abused the fact that they have the technology to produce vaccines, it has become very imperative that Nigeria should have a vaccine center where they can research effectively, specifically for vaccine production. When Ebola came, we were taken by surprise, and it was difficult for us to even be able to cure Ebola. It was just by trial by error that we were able to resolve the issue of Ebola. Not that we were able to get a vaccine that we can say, yes, this can cure Ebola. It was just by accident that we were able to come out of it. To promote research in the discovery and development of vaccine for treatment and cure of diseases, and to make provision for general administration of the center and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this bill is for the establishment of the vaccine development and research to enable Nigerians to develop our own vaccine, Mr. Speaker. We are all living witness the billions we expended just to procure the vaccine for coronavirus. Mr. Speaker, there's so many diseases that are unknown to other nations. Developed nations are not even aware of the existence of these diseases in our country.
Aviation workers have suspended their planned industrial action following an agreement reached with the federal government. The strike was planned to commence on Tuesday, but the workers made a U-turn on their plan after a memorandum of settlement reached by them and the Federal Ministry of Aviation in the early hours of Tuesday. Both parties signed the agreement at the end of the meeting, which was held at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. The meeting, which was presided over by the Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, discussed the non-implementation of the minimum wage consequential adjustment in the aviation parastatals since 2019 and the non-approval and release of the reviewed conditions of service in the parastatals. At the meeting between the union leaders, the Minister of Aviation and the Minister of Labor, it was agreed that by March 31st, the Ministry of Aviation must ensure the approval, release and implementation of the reviewed costs for all the workers in the agencies under the Aviation Ministry. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Babe, on Tuesday read out the strategies being taken by the police to stabilize Nigerian security amid threats in various parts of the country. He explained that the police would undertake a holistic assessment of the current challenges with a view to ensuring the security of the lives and properties of the people. The IGP stated this during the Nigerian Police Force Conference and Retreat for Senior Officers held in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. He told an audience at the event that we hope to undertake a holistic assessment of the current internal security threat and crime dynamics in the country, identifying factors engendering crimes, re-evaluate our strategies, identify operational gaps, and evolve new pathways of strengthening existing strategies towards meeting our sacred obligations to the citizens of this country. The event had in attendance the State Governor, Udom Emmanuel, and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and Ekiti State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, as well as the officers of the Nigerian Police Force. At least 8 people have been killed and 4 others, including a village head, abducted after an early Tuesday morning attack carried out by bandits at Guga village in Bakore local government area of Katsina State. According to residents, several food items were carted away by the bandit with shops burnt down. The police spokesman, SP Gambo Issa, confirmed that the bandit, numbering over 40, armed with sophisticated weapons, stormed the village on motorcycles, started shooting sporadically into the air to disperse the residents. Issa explained that the terrorists killed 4 persons at Guga village, 4 at Galadima community, and abducted 4 others during the attack that lasted 4 hours. At least 4 persons sustained several gunshot wounds in the attack. He also revealed that the division, a police officer of Bakore, in response mobilized his men to the area, but before getting there, the bandits had already committed their atrocities. He added that efforts are ongoing to identify the gunmen and ensure they'll face justice. The National Universities Commission, NUC, has presented the operating certificate for the Lagos State Polytechnic Ikorodu to Lagos State University of Science and Technology and Adeniran Ogusoye College of Education Ijanike, as well as Mike Otedola College of Education Ekwe to Lagos State University of Education. The handover ceremony was performed by the Executive Secretary of NUC, Professor Abubakar Abdurrashid, at the brief event held at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja Tuesday. While presenting the certificate, NUC congratulated Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and assured him of the Commission's readiness to assist the state in our academic strides. Correspondent Miriam Enakimon reports that Professor Rashid, however, noted that the Commission would continue to work with the state to ensure the universities take their place among other universities. Receiving the letter of recognition, the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, commended NUC for ensuring stability in the country university system. He assured that Lagos State will provide necessary funds and human resources to the institutions.
This university is recognized as the 56th state university and 204th university in the Nigerian university system, and as I say, as the second university of education in the country. The National University Commission hereby pledges its total support to the university and urges the Lagos State government to take full advantage of the professional and technical advice that the Commission is statutorily required to provide to state governments on the establishment, funding, and operations of their universities. By a copy of this letter, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, and the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, are being notified of this development. We are sending them today after
as we speak, one of them. And so it's not a place that is greenfield. They are like brownfields. They are existing institutions that have infrastructure, and we're developing additional infrastructure. And we'll wrap up those infrastructure aggressively in the next couple of years. And it's driven by our vision as a government, right? It's there in our economic agenda, education, and technology. So it's not something that we just fell in overnight. It was something that we thought out. It was something that we knew our people deserve, and it was something that we planned in the 4 years that we're going to deliver on today. And we thank all the stakeholders, the House of Assembly, all of the various communities where these institutions will be sited, and all of our other players, the private sector who are, looking forward to this. All of the schools, over almost 20,000 schools in Lagos that are in private institutions that are looking for teachers in science education, teachers in other curriculum of education that have university degree. Those are the markets that is the ready-made market that we're trying to fill, right? So we're excited, we're proud that we can take this back home today into Lagos.
The chairman of the All Progressive Congress, IPC, in Oyo State, Chief Isaac Omodewu, has inaugurated the state executive members of the party and the chairman of the party across the local government areas. The inauguration was done at the party office at Okeado in Ibadan, the state capital. While speaking, Omodewu said he will build on the immediate past chairman's Chief Akin Oke's legacy. He also promised to embark on genuine reconciliation move to bring aggrieved members of the party ahead of the 2023 general elections.
The Congresses have come and gone. There is no victor. There is no vanquish. It is time to get united and mobilize for 2023 general election. That era of impunity and imposition of candidates is over. Our administration can create a level playing for member jostling for any position or the other in 2023 election. We are returning the party to the members. They will determine the fate of the all aspirants. No leader or group will be allowed to impose candidates on the party.
Leadership of the All Progressive Congress in Osun State says a level playing field will be ensured for all its gubernatorial aspirants ahead of February 19th primary election of the party. This was re-echoed during the strategic tour of the state governor, Gboyega Oyetola, in Iwo Federal Constituency. The governor started the strategic statewide consultations 3 weeks ago to make his intention to run for another term in office, known to the people, members and supporters of the APC, and to fraternize with newly elected party leaders at local and world levels. Now in Iwo Federal Constituency, Iwo, the governor's first port of call was the palace of the monarch of Ile-Uwo in Ayedade local government before it proceeded to meet party members in the area. Speaking at the consultation venue, Governor Oyetola encouraged members to remain focused while the leadership of the party promised to work towards ensuring no one defects to another political party after the primary election. The leaders of the party in the constituency said, though democracy gives room for contest, but they are in support of the governor. They stressed that the governor's laudable performance in their various localities and the state at large has made it imperative for members to determine the return him to office for another term. The state APC chairman, Gboyega Famodu, said the party will continue to reinvigorate and promote sensitization on internal democracy among members across local government in order to achieve success in the coming primary and governorship elections. The governor later proceeded to Bodiose in Olaoluwa local government before terminating the visit in Iwo local government after meeting with monarchs and members of the party in the areas.
This is a continuation of my consultation with the members of our party. I've been to 9 local governments. We're now in Ayedire. And you can see this for yourself. The party is in charge, the members are ready. What we are doing here is consultation to inform them that the party has graciously approved that they should continue.
We are very much happy to receive Mr. Governor here today. My people, they are giving me a rising welcome because of the fact that the way he's conducting his administration, everybody's happy about it. And we are genuinely, everybody's happy about the infrastructure development. So we are pleased to welcome him here today. This
man deserves a second term to relay a solid foundation for the economy and social and industrial development of our state.
So this is a democracy. The other time we have up to 8 candidates or even more in the primaries. But now we are having 3. And the party members are ready for it. And the direction with which the party is going is known to every party members.
Meanwhile, Osun State Commissioner of Police, Wale Olokode, said that the force under his command will continue to remain independent and work according to the rules and regulations of the Nigerian Police Force. The commissioner made the statement at the first command in Osogbo during a press conference held in reaction to a series of allegations leveled against him by members of the Osun APC factional group known as the Osun Progressive TAP. The allegation include why police were absent at the group's parallel Congress in 2021 and that the CP masterminded the disruption and attack on the APC Secretariat last year, including his involvement in the recent attack at Top Secretariat, among others. Speaking, the police boss debunked all the allegations, saying they are deliberate attempt by some people to cast aspersions on his integrity. Olokode said he has never turned down any invitation to provide security for any group, adding that he personally leads his men to some when invited. He said despite not being informed or invited for the meeting at the Secretariat where the Thursday attack was reported, officers were mobilized to the place and the attack is being investigated for possible prosecution of suspect. The CP added that the commanders always address all petitions received with a view to getting to the root of them all without any form of compromise. Olokode said the command would never be an appendage to any political party or group, but will continue to firmly oppose its constitutional mandate in the interest of peace. He thereby want the group to have a rethink, saying the command would not hesitate to institute legal action against them.
Osun State Police Command has not and will not be an instrument of any political party and will remain independent and work according to the rules and regulations guiding the General Police Force. I, as the Commissioner of Police in the state, have not derailed in my job and I will never do that. I therefore want to say that all allegations against me, my personalities and the command are fallacies and far from the truth. I see the petition as a deliberate attempt to malign my name and bring disrepute to the command under me, and it is unfortunate. Gentlemen, it's very unfortunate. I therefore wish to say that if this does not stop, I and the command will not hesitate to take legal action against all forms of lies and unfounded allegations from any corner.
That's all from the local scene. We go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you stories from the foreign scene. Please stay with us. You're watching MTV Primetime News. Now to foreign stories. A key bridge between the U.S. and Canada has reopened after protesting truckers' ground traffic to a standstill. Truckers rallying against Canada's COVID vaccine rules had blocked the Ambassador Bridge on Monday night, forcing vehicles to take long detours. The route over the Detroit River is Canada's busiest border crossing and a vital trade link between it and the U.S. More than 40,000 people and $323 million worth of goods cross it daily. According to police in Michigan and Windsor, protesters have forced authorities to close it shortly before 9 p.m. on Monday, just hours after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had accused the demonstrators of attempting to blockade our economy. Hundreds of vehicles were backed up for miles as travelers were warned by Canadian police to reroute. While now open for travel from Canada to the U.S. across the other side, the Michigan Department of Transportation said the bridge remained closed and advised drivers to divert to nearby Port Huron to head into Canada. French President Emmanuel Macron has told reporters that President Vladimir Putin assured him that Russian forces would not ramp up the crisis near Ukraine's borders. However, Russia said any suggestion of a guarantee was not right. Russia has denied any plans to invade Ukraine, but it has assembled more than 100,000 troops near its borders. U.S. officials believe Russia has assembled 70% of military forces needed for a full-scale invasion. The tensions between Russia, Ukraine, and the West come nearly 8 years after Russia annexed Ukraine's southern Crimea Peninsula and backed a rebellion in the eastern Donbas region. Moscow accuses the Ukrainian government of failing to implement the Minsk Agreement, an international deal sponsored by Germany and France to restore peace to the east, where Russian-backed rebels control swaths of territory and at least 14,000 people have been killed since 2014. Jacob Rees-Mogg has become the Minister for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency as Boris Johnson begins his cabinet reshuffle. The Prime Minister, under pressure over parties in Downing Street during lockdown, is meeting ministers inside number 10 for what are being described as small changes. Mark Spencer moves from being Tory Chief Whip to House of Commons leader. Mr. Rees-Mogg from his role. The Prime Minister has already changed many of his advisors and other number 10 staff. Mr. Rees-Mogg, a prominent Leave campaigner during the 2016 European Union referendum, will be a full member of the cabinet. Having previously only attended it, Mr. Spencer will continue to attend. The reshuffle comes as Mr. Johnson is coming under pressure from opposition parties and some within his own to quit. And up next is sports stories. Please stay with us. You're still watching Mitv Primetime News. Now talking sport. Barcelona have announced that Chief Executive Officer Ferran Reverte has resigned from the position for personal and family reasons. In a statement on Tuesday, the club said the resignation will come into effect as soon as the new CEO is appointed. Reverte had been appointed CEO on July 4, 2021 and is serving the club's 2021 to 2026 strategic plan project. Announcing his resignation, he said, and I quote, "It is now almost a year since I left Germany to return to Barcelona for family reasons, and shortly after I accepted the offer that I received from President Joan Laporta to become CEO of the club." His resignation was accepted by the club, saying the president and his board of directors wish to publicly express their gratitude to Ferran Reverte for his commitment and good work as head of the FC Barcelona executive during his time. And just before we end the primetime news tonight, a quick recap of our top stories. Senate replaces Barcha with Lau as deputy minority leader. 8 killed, village head, 3 others abducted in Katsina. From the foreign scene, Putin pledges no new Ukraine escalation. Sport. Ferran Reverte resigns as Barcelona CEO. With that is a wrap on the Primetime News tonight. From the entire news crew, I am Teresa Adeyemi. Do have a great night. Good night.
This is your radio.